All right, it's time. Good morning and welcome to Unscrew Your Mind. Before we get started, I want to allude to what is coming up in the near future. This video today is more about what's going on in my world, what's happened, and starting next Thursday, the video is going to be about fitness and mindset. So those two things in common. And you can look forward to seeing a video about the common mistakes people make in their cardio. That is extremely common because it's not talked about at all. I don't even see fitness trainers talking about this. And next Thursday's video is going to be all about the power of a smile. So without further ado, let's get into the video today. Hi, my name is Kathie Owen, certified fitness trainer and mindset coach since 2002, teaching others how to transform their lives in magic fashion using Stop the Mind Screw process. And today we're talking about unscrewing the mind and crazy thoughts that go on in our minds no matter what. As a survivor of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, I know a thing or two about mind screwing. And just recently, I encountered major mind screw because I had a zillion things, or what felt like a zillion things, going on. We think over 90,000 thoughts a day. I would say that's even more now with the digital age that we live in, that we're probably thinking more like 150 to 200,000 thoughts a day. What are those thoughts and what are the quality of them and how do they affect your life? Well, let's talk about that. All right, unscrew your mind, the challenges we all face because of those thoughts that we think that go off the charts. Today, we're going to talk about the struggles we all face, Neville Goddard principles, reality transurfing principles, and the principle of polarity from the Kybalion. Hi, my name is Kathie Owen, certified fitness trainer and mindset coach since 2002 and creator of Stop the Mind Screw process. Just recently, we had Hurricane Nicholas in my town that I live in. And while it wasn't as devastating as some other hurricanes that I've lived through, I can tell you that I witnessed some things that were an analogy to what I have been going through. This picture right here is not from the hurricane damage because really and truly, mostly that all that happened was a lot of limbs were falling down and fences blew over, trees fell down, things like that, because we did have high gusts of wind. And it happened about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. And so, of course, everybody was asleep. That was probably a good thing because it saved a lot of people from having to leave work or having to just travel in the storm. But the eye of the hurricane just went a little bit east of me. No, west, sorry. And the next morning I was driving to work and I was like, whoa, there were lots of limbs everywhere, in the street, everything. So I've heard Wayne Dyer say that hurricanes come and they come in to blow things out. Well, there's going to be damage and then there's cleanup. And so that analogy right there was so appropriate to everything I had been going through lately. What happens? Feel the fear and do it anyway. Oh my gosh. So one of the main struggles I went through was a business struggle. I am in the process of just getting about to launch my course. And I have coaches who reach out to me all the time. I don't know if it's because of where I'm at or who I follow, but I had a coach reach out to me and she was like, Kathie, you need to build your YouTube channel. You need to get niche down. You need to talk about this. You need to talk about that. You need to follow this person and do their study. Well, I already have a business coach and I actually have a mastermind that I work with. And this thing, she had great ideas and it really inspired me, but at the same time, it sent me off in the wrong direction. So I had to sit back and think about things. Fortunately for me, I have an awesome mastermind that I work with. One of the best investments I made was with Digital Course Academy with Amy Porterfield. And I learned how to launch my course in a very, very powerful fashion. One of the best things that came out of that was my accountability pod. And I have a girl from Sugarland. We started it together because she found me and saw that I was from Sugarland. And then we built on that group. And some of those girls came through and pulled me through some of my hard times because I was going through some major struggles. And this other girl coach had pulled me off track too. So that was my struggle with my business. So the challenges that I faced and that I had to talk to, fortunately, these people that I work with are all coaches and they coach in different aspects of in general. And so I had some very valuable opinions that helped me. I have a corporate job. I work at OcuSoft and I love my job, but I had a major challenge that I really can't talk about right now because it's still a wound, but I had a challenge that I faced with that job, and it was either stay with the company or leave the company. And I love my job, and I had to also confront a situation that I was not comfortable with. I had some communication struggles I was going through in my relationship. So one of the girls is a relationship coach, and she walked me through some of that stuff. And a lot of my struggles with communication have to deal with my complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I have a 14-and-a-half-year-old dog. That is about a 100-year-old person, and she is having some major problems, and she's dwindling down, but she won't go. She won't cross the bridge. And it's causing me some mind screw issues. My online business, like I already alluded to, the distracting coaches, my complex post-traumatic stress disorder triggers, because I was also coaching someone through some things that I went through myself that triggered me back into some PTSD. And that was not easy. The news, 9/11. Oh my goodness. That also is a huge trigger. And probably for most of us, because it is very traumatic, and especially if you live through it, or even just watching the images on the news. Pushing back my launch again because I was supposed to be launching next week. Now I'm launching in the middle of October. My course will start in the middle of October. I had some unexpected expenses, as we all hit those from time to time. The one thing that always gets me in flow, which is the process of Stop the Mind Screw, gets you into the zone. And that was listening to my mentor, Joseph Rodrigues, and his podcast episodes. And so his podcast episode on Sunday was so powerful. And a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about today comes from that. But actually, the whole Stop the Mind Screw process comes from his insights and perspectives that I've learned from him over the years. Now, obviously, he has 312 episodes. Oh my goodness, imagine the things that he talks about. I can go back and re-listen to his episodes and learn something new every single time. I'm like, where was that? I didn't even hear that. For example, I listened to this episode 4 times on that day. And when I listened to it 4 times, I was like, whoa, I learned something new again. It was really, really good. And of course, fitness gets me in the zone. And I actually took a screenshot in the gym the other day, and I said, I'm finally feeling like myself again. And that was Sunday. Reality Transurfing principles. These 2 really hit home. Now, I do talk about other reality transurfing principles, and you can download those at kathieowen.com/reality-transurfing, and you can find more about that as well. But the 2 principles that really hit home were advantage and pendulums. So advantage in the book Reality Transurfing, he talks about how the world is always taking care of me. And that was so true. And you can think back to when you were a child and you can remember just feeling free and liberated because everything just happened to be working out. Now, if you look at the world with the perspective of everything is always taking care of me, it will shift your perspective. You could be going through all those struggles like I went through, but if I realize that my world is always taking care of me, it sure feels a lot better than sitting there in victim mentality. Pendulums. What is a pendulum? A pendulum is a thought structure that everybody else thinks. And it's very contagious, and all it wants is your energy. Take, for example, the news. Take, for example, 9/11. That is a huge pendulum. And it just wants your energy. So Saturday night, which was 9/11, we had a party at our house for one of our friends that had a birthday on 9/11. She hates her birthday because of the incidences that happen. And she watches the news. As a matter of fact, her phone kept dinging with alerts like every 20 minutes because she was getting alerts from the news. You have to be very cautious and protective of what you let in. And I will talk about that in just a minute. But pendulums will hook you if you don't sit back and observe them, if you don't realize what they are. And so you have to become that way and be very observant as what is going on. Neville Goddard principles. So Neville Goddard talks about reactivity and states. So reactivity is when you get shaky and mad and you fall into a different state. Right now, I'm very calm. I'm very alert. I'm very aware. But let's say a bomb went off or a loud noise went off in the background. I would get reactive because that is a protective factor. But reactivity happens all day long. You have little incidences that cause you to be reactive. And there's so much that goes on around that, especially when you start talking about hormones and cortisol levels and things like that. And if you control your mind, you can keep yourself in a calm state. Or if that loud noise went off right now and I got alert and shaky, I could calm myself down quickly because I'm aware of what that is. And I also have trained myself to control that. So I love this quote from Neville. And if you follow me on social media, you saw me post this a couple of times this week. If you are not on guard, you can be persuaded by the press, television, or radio to change your concept of self and unwittingly move into an undesirable state. Whoa, that right there is so powerful. And, you know, Neville Goddard was popular back in the 1950s. So he doesn't even speak about how social media does this as well, or how the internet does it. Back in the 50s, his world was easier controlled than it is now, because so many times you could be on social media and you have something pop up that comes into your world and causes you to mind screw or become reactive. The Kybalion and the principle of polarity. So that was talked about in this episode as well. And the Kybalion is, the principles of polarity are, you've got the north and the south, and there's so many things in between. So polarity can happen in all types of incidences. And it's hard to tell when it gets from cold, starts to get hot, and starts to get hotter and hotter. And it's hard to tell the degrees of the incidences. And polarity happens in thought structures. It happens in your mind. And it's hard to tell when you're going to start slipping into a state like Neville Goddard teaches. So, and by his knowledge, he will be able to aid his fellows intelligently and by appropriate methods change the polarity when the same is desirable. We advise all students to familiarize themselves with this principle of polarity, for a correct understanding of the same will throw light on many difficult subjects. What does this mean? And what did this happen with me? I had all the polarities going on. I'm very aware of where I want to be in that positive mindset. That is one of my core values, is a positive mindset. But I slipped into a negative mindset because of my triggers and PTSD and because of all the things that were going on. So you have to become aware of all of these things. This is just part of life. You're going to have this and you're going to have this. But when you become aware of the polarities, you can have a correct understanding and throw light on many difficult subjects, because the negative is way over here. And then you can throw light on that and pull yourself into another thought structure. But you also have to feel both to understand the balance of life. For example, you hear somebody complaining, it's been raining all the time, the weather is terrible. Well, there's the polarity of the weather. You wouldn't appreciate the sunny days if it was sunny all the time and you didn't have the what you call bad weather. That's a polarity right there. All right, so I already talked about this a moment ago, but I'm coming soon. I have Fitness and Stop the Mind Screw with Kathie. A lot of my videos are going to be geared more towards fitness and health and wellness, but definitely with mindset, because as a trainer for 20 years, I've seen how mindset plays a much more important factor than just teaching people fitness principles. Because fitness principles, you can Google that and learn that, but can you have somebody coach you into a mindset that gets you where you want to be? So one of the main things I teach in this course is going to be at the beginning, it's going to be finding what you like to do to exercise, because not everybody's going to like to walk on the treadmill. They're not going to like to do the elliptical. They're not even going to like going into the gym. So we're going to discover all kinds of exercise and how to do it properly. That's one mindset shift that will happen in this course. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for participating today. I did write a blog post on this topic, and you can find more at the blog post. I am one heck more of a writer than I am a speaker. I'm working on that. I'm trying to find the balance in there, as the Kybalion says, but you can go read the blog post. I'll have the link in the description below, or in the call to action on this class. All right. That's my video for today. I hope you liked it. Thank you for staying here. And until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste.